Hello guys and welcome back. So now in this video we're gonna work on our lobby. Alright, as you know that we have created our lobby. Okay, so let me enable the lobby player. Then in the room manager, let's enable the room cam as well. Alright, and in this video what we're gonna do is we're gonna start the game using this start button. Alright, when we click on it, it will create a room for us and it will join that room. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is we will open up the room manager script, and right here at the top we will create a reference first of all to the room camera. So public cam object, name this as room cam, or you can name this as lobby cam if you want. Then we need a reference to our lobby player, so for that we will say public cam object. Let's name this as player object. Alright, let me create a header right here as well. Alright, then after this we need a reference to our start button. So as you know that it is a button, so we will name the type as button, and then the button name should be start button. Then we need a reference to the start button text. Alright, as you know that we are using text mesh pro, so right here make sure that you type text mesh pro GUI, then name this as start button text. And guys, also make sure that right here at the top you add these four packages. The first one is using photon.realtime, then the Unity engine.ui, then the text mesh pro, and then this one. Alright, now what we're gonna do right here is we're gonna first of all disconnect the player from the photon network entirely when the game starts. Right, because we have now a lobby system, so whenever we start the game or the player is in the lobby, we first of all want to make sure that the player disconnect from the photon network entirely, the player leaves any room. Alright, and we will also make sure that we will check if the player is already inside a room or not, okay, before showing the player the lobby. So in order to do that, right here at the top we will first of all check that if the player is already inside a photon room or not. So we will say if photon network dot in room. So if the player is inside any room, we will first of all make the player leave the current room. In order to do that, we will type photon network dot leave room. Alright, and after that we will disconnect from the photon network entirely. For doing that, we will say photon network dot disconnect. Then we want to wait until the player is fully disconnected from the photon network. Alright, so for waiting we need to change this from void to a enumerator type method. Alright, and then let me remove this debug message now because we don't need that. Then right here we will say yield return new wait until photon network dot is connected. Alright, and then after that we will reconnect to the photon network using the defined settings. Okay, so this step is really important because now we are in a lobby, so make sure that you do this. Then right here we have this on connect to master. Then we have this on joined lobby, in which we joined a room which we name it as test room. Alright, now we will not be joining this test room, or actually let's not do any changes with that. Alright, right now we will join this test room. Alright, but we just need to move this line now to something, I mean to a separate method, so cut that from there. Alright, and what we are doing, what we will be doing right here is when the player join a lobby, right here we were just simply moving the player to the test room. Whenever the player joined any lobby, we instantly make the player join this test room. Alright, so since we are removing this, whoops, sorry, okay, so since we will not be joining any room now instantly, so right here we will be needing to make the start button interactable to true, but for now let's just leave that, because you guys will be then thinking why we are doing that. We will just leave the comment for the start button right here. Alright, and first of all let's go ahead and make the player join or create a room. For that we will create a separate method now, so we will say public void join or create room. Right here you can show message that connecting when we are joining or creating a room. Okay, then let's paste that line which we copied, photon network join or create room. Alright, paste it right here and leave this as it is. Okay, so if there is any room already created, we will join it, or else we will create a new test room. Okay, and as you know that if only one player click the start button and there is no other player available, then of course we don't want the player to join the game directly, because there will be only one player, and what a single player will do in the entire environment. Alright, so we want the player to wait in the lobby until the next player joins. So how we will tell the player that the player is waiting? So in order to make the player wait, first of all we will disable the start button, because we don't want the player to click the start button again and again. So right here we will say start button dot interactable. Let's set it to false. Right, and also we want to show the player that the player is in matching, so we will change the start button text to matching. Alright, just as it is shown in most of the online games. Alright, then after this, if for example if the room maximum player capacity is 2 and then a third player start the game and click on the start button, then of course the player will not be able to join the test room, because the test room capacity 2 is already full. Alright, so in that case, if the join room failed, then in that case what we want to do, we want to create a separate room, and then we want the new player to join that room. Alright, but for now we will not be adding that, so let's leave a comment right here on join random failed or something like that. Okay, leave a comment right here so that we know that we have to make this method. Alright, then in the on joined room right here, when we are in a room, then what we want to do, of course we want to disable the lobby then, because the game will be on then. So in order to do that, we will say room cam dot set active set it to false, and we also want to remove the player, the lobby player, so we will remove that as well. Then we will start the game simply, and as you know that when we start the game we spawn the player. Alright, we also now need to create one more method, but I think let's just leave that for now. Alright, then you can scroll down again right here where we join or create a room right here at the top. Make a private void method, name this as on start button clicked, and in this call this join or create room method. Okay, then scroll up and right here add a wake method, and in this awake we will say start button dot on click. When we click the start button we want to call that method, so we will say dot add listener, and right here call the on start button click method. Alright, and also we want the start button dot interactable to be false when the game starts. And now we will when the game starts we want the start button to be not interactable, because when the game start, as you know, first of all we check if the player is in the room, we leave that room, we disconnect fully, and then we make sure that we are disconnected fully from the Photon network, and then after that we connect using the settings of the Photon, and then we joined a lobby, and then after that we create a room. Alright, all of this is happening. So for example, if the game instantly start and the player directly press the start button, then all of these things will get, they will actually not get executed, and when they get not executed it will show an error. Alright, so that's why when the game start we want the start button to be not interactable, and we only want this to be interactable when we joined a lobby. Alright, not a room but the lobby. Alright, so when we are on a lobby then we want the start button to be interactable, so that's why we leave a comment right there in which we will now set the start button to true. Okay, and right here on the join or create room, and we are when we press the start button, then of course we also want to make the start button not interactable, because we don't want the player to press the start button again and again. Now if we get back right here, and if you click on the room manager right here, we need to now provide all of the things. So first of all, drag and drop the room cam, then the lobby player, then the start button. So here is the start button, then the start button text, there is the text. Alright, and now if we start the game, you will notice that the start button will be not interactable for for 1 or 2 seconds, and when we connect to a lobby, then as you can see the start button is now interactable, or you can say active. So now if we click on start, as you can see it shows matching and we are in a room. Alright, you guys will be thinking that why it directly start the game, because in the room options we don't have any option that how many players should be in a room before starting the game. Alright, we don't have that option, so that's why it instantly start the game. But as you know that it shows the matching text. Alright, and then it start the game. Okay, so now let's test it on two devices. The game is running on both of them. Okay, if we press start, you will notice the start button will become not interactable, and it will change this from start to matching, as you can see, and it starts the game. Alright, let's test it from here. As you can see, it does the same. Alright, there is the other player which joined this room. Okay, so now we are starting the game from the lobby. Okay, and in the next video we will work more on our lobby. We will add some room options, that how many players should be required in order to start the game. Alright, as you know that in most of the games a total number of 100 players or 50 players are required before starting the game. Alright, so in the next video we will be working on this. Now with this done, let's end this video right here.